Question. Hi, Kim. First of all, thank you so much for who you are and what you do. So I was wondering how to make the most of going to spiritual retreats at night while sleeping. How to remember and retain fully the memories. Is it something to strive for at all, or is there a different part of spiritual growth which manifests in everyday life? Okay, so the background for the question, if you're not familiar with this, is that the Ascended Masters explain that, you really need to watch my video about how the world was created if you want to understand this topic fully. But the basic here is that beyond the purely material frequency spectrum, the energies that make up the material world that we can detect with our senses, there are higher vibrations. And there are actually 3 levels of higher vibrations: the emotional, mental, and identity level. And the highest is the identity level. And beyond that is what I call the spiritual level. So in the higher levels of the identity realm, the Ascended Masters who are in the spiritual realm, they have created these, they call them spiritual retreats. And you can consider them kind of like a learning institution, like a university, in a sense, a retreat setting or a monastery or something like that. You know, mystery school, you could say. And many people who have some attunement to the Ascended Masters travel there in their finer bodies, in their identity body, at night. And you have various instructions there. There are classes there, and you can receive help in healing issues and that kind of thing. So, so many Ascended Master students from different dispensations have been aware of this for a long time, and some people never remember going there. Other people remember it on a regular basis, and many people remember it once in a while. So, you know, I understand that there are some Ascended Master students be wondering, you know, why don't I remember this? Does that mean I'm not going, or what? Now, if you want to go, make sure you go. You can just make a simple call before you go to sleep. You can call for the Ascended Masters, especially to Archangel Michael, the Elohim Estrella, to cut you free from lower levels like the emotional realm, and to escort you to a retreat. And if there's a specific master you would like to go to that retreat, you call to that master, you'll be taken there. It also helps if you are generally on the spiritual path, giving decrees for or invocations for spiritual protection, for being cut free, and for transmuting energy. Because that you can basically say that in order to go to a spiritual retreat in the identity realm, you have to go from the physical through the emotional, the mental, and the lower identity. So the more ties you would have, for example, to the emotional realm, you could get sidetracked and go there instead of going up. So that requires, you know, certain spiritual protection. It also requires a certain resolution of psychology. I mean, people who have severe psychological issues, their soul will probably go to the emotional realm or the mental realm instead of going to the identity realm. So, but many people, many spiritual people, and many people who don't know about Ascended Master teachings, they still go there. They're just not consciously aware of it. Okay, so this is one thing. You can do something to increase the chances that you will, or the likelihood that you will go there. But in terms of remembering it, you know, I've seen this over many years, and sometimes people can get frustrated. They want to remember. They want to try and force themselves to remember. And I don't think that's a constructive approach. I think you really should be completely neutral or non-attached about this. Whether you remember or not, it doesn't matter. You're walking the path, you're making the calls to the masters, and then if you have a memory of going there, then that's fine. You can deal with that. But I think actually that it's deliberate that we don't have a clear memory of it. And the reason why I'm saying that is that what the masters are trying to do when we're at these retreats is to give us a certain insight that helps us deal with something in our psychology. For example, a specific separate self that we're dealing with. But they are not trying to do this like a traditional schoolroom where you are taught something from without and you understand it intellectually. They're trying to help us shift our consciousness. So what I'm saying is, imagine you go to a spiritual retreat at night. You are taught you have this psychological issue. You have this separate self you're working on. And you are shown what the separate self is and the illusion behind it. Then you wake up in the morning and you remember this. The danger there is that you are now trying with your conscious mind and your intellectual understanding to deal with this subconscious self. And the danger there is that you're trying to intellectualize your way out of the self. But that's not how to overcome a self. The way to overcome a self is that the conscious you steps outside the self, looks at it from the outside, first of all realizes I'm not the self, but then sees the illusion. And when I talk about seeing the illusion, I'm not talking about intellectually understanding it. That's not enough. It's an aha experience, an immersive experience where you see it, you experience it, and then you shift. So what I'm trying to say is that if you had a conscious memory of what happened at the retreats, it could actually hinder your growth rather than helping it. Because I have found many times that I wake up early in the morning, or I'm lying awake before I get out of bed, and an insight comes to me. And I'm pretty sure that was something I learned at a retreat. But it doesn't come to me as an intellectual understanding from the outside. It comes to me as an insight from inside my mind. It's like, oh, I see it, I see it, I see it. And it can also happen during the day. It doesn't have to be in the morning. But I'm just saying, this is more important than the outer memory and the intellectual understanding. You could put it this way, and you could say, I don't know if I can come up with an example. Oh, yeah. When I was a child, I liked to walk on, for example, the top of my parents' fence. They had a 2-meter tall fence in the backyard, and there was a narrow ledge on top, and I liked to walk on top of that. And I learned very quickly that the only way to do this is to put aside the intellectual mind. It's the same as riding a bicycle, essentially. Because if you are trying to intellectually ride the bicycle, you're going to fall over. You have to put aside the thinking mind, the analytical mind, and go into some space, whether you call it a neutral space or an intuitive space, where it just becomes automatic. So I would walk on top of this fence, and I wouldn't think. I would completely not think about, oh, you could fall down, or you could lean too far to that side. I remember this. You go into this neutral state of mind, you just walk, and then you can do it. Oh, it's the same as climbing a tree or doing other difficult tasks. Many sports people, for example, they realize that if they think about doing something very difficult in sports, they can't do it or they mess up. It has to come from this neutral space. So all I'm trying to say here is that you could look at the spiritual path as a way to set aside the intellectual, analytical mind and learn to go into the intuitive mind. And it's the same thing with the instructions we get from the retreat. It's not a matter of intellectual understanding, and therefore we don't need the conscious memory of it. What we need is this coming from within ourselves. Ah, I see this. I never saw this before. And in many cases, these kind of insights, they come from the fact that we have been attending these retreats and we learn something at the retreat. We don't consciously remember it, but it surfaces again to the conscious mind. But now it's coming from inside because we've integrated it. So in other words, I think many times, I can go to a retreat, I'm working on a certain lesson, but it can take a long time. And maybe it takes weeks or months before I actually see it. So if I could remember this, oh, I went to a retreat. The master was trying to help me see this, but I couldn't get it. Why couldn't I get it? Are you stupid or what? Then you can start thinking about this. But because you don't know what's going on, you just keep working on it at the retreat until you work through it. And then, now it breaks through to the conscious mind when you're in the wake state. And now it's coming from within. It's internalized instead of intellectualized. So the person is also saying, is there something to strive for at all? I don't think so. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. Or is there a different part of spiritual growth which manifests in everyday life? And as I said, that is working on the subconscious selves. Using the tools and teachings the masters have given. There's a book again, Healing Your Spiritual Traumas. There's several of my videos where I talk about this. And it's really about that. Working on the subconscious selves, seeking to identify if you have a specific pattern, reactionary pattern. You're always reacting the same way. Somebody always makes you angry. And then, yeah, you can start by rationalizing and intellectualizing about it, but really it won't be resolved until, as I said, you go into that neutral state, the conscious you shifts out of the self, sees it from the outside, and you realize it's not your experience, it's not you, and you have internalized the illusion that created the self. Then you shift out of it. You're not thinking your way out of it. You shift out of it. Because you're not, see, this is the thing. When I talk about intellectualizing, right, I'm talking about you are here. I'm the observer. There is the problem. I'm observing the problem from a distance. And now I understand every aspect of this problem from a distance. But when I talk about the intuitive approach, it's not from a distance. It's coming from the inside. You have internalized the spiritual teaching. You have, and by internalizing it, you come to the point where you shift your view, your whole perspective, basically your sense of identity shifts. And then you have resolved something.